Yo, what's up, guys? All right, let's do a little AMC update here. I'm not gonna take too much of your time. Just want to update some things. Want to update the POI, the point of interest. Show you guys where we are in the cycle and what's going on, all that good stuff. Okay. All right, so start off with the cycle and show you guys where we are in the point of interest. So, point of interest is looking to continue here. At least there are some fractals that we're looking at right now that call this a fake out, initial fake out. That doesn't have to be the case, guys. Remember that these zones that we come into are just volatility zones. So if things don't happen on this this POI here, we just track the next POI for a potential push to the upside. That's what we do every single time. Now, with I'm going to show you the last POI. The last point of interest we had that initial push to the upside here. So you can see that with the volume. There's a very quick wick, gets rejected back down, and then we are shorted right up to the peak. So we have something similar going on here. We did have that volatility event take place. If you guys remember, just here a couple of days ago, before we got rejected back down, there was a pretty massive volatility event in the option chain, and that is what we're looking for here with these POIs. That doesn't normally happen on AMC. That is rare to happen on AMC, and the fact that it's within this box is very important to keep tracking here, to keep confirming. Now, this doesn't mean that this POI is going to remain a positive one and that we're going to have a greater push to the upside, but it does tell us that there's volatility inside. So this could be, just like all of these other red ones, could be another inverse POI that's on the table. But I'm here to talk about the bullish and the bearish case scenario. So this is just setting things straight here on the POI, where we are, what is happening. So a couple of things, right? This pattern, okay, is currently building up to be what we call a projector pattern. So a projector pattern is something we see happen prior to major runs in the market. So here's a projector pattern. Okay, make it into a fractal, make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Okay, because what it does, you have your initial push to the upside, gets rejected back down, comes to support, and then continues that rise. Okay, so that's a projector pattern. That's what we're doing right now. That's what it seems like we're doing right now, and I'm going to show you a couple of patterns that I think are valid for this right now, for what we're doing. So another, I guess we can do that. Let's pull up some of these patterns. So there's one. I pulled up the one that we had back here in May of 2021, prior to the June run-up. Obviously, this one's bigger. Okay, we also have this one right here. This is a projector with pretty, like, there's two fake outs in this projector, and I'm going to show you why the levels are crucial here. So levels are the same. Okay, we have two run-ups, that first initial breakout, and then on that second breakout you get your first fake out. This is a pretty drastic one, and the reason why I like this one here is because of how it lines up with the next point of interest, but I'm going to talk about why this is where we could potentially see the cycle break. As these things happen, guys, and we keep getting more information, we are trying to figure out, like, what the chart's going to do next, right? If things don't happen on this POI, we have to look at the next one for that next potential run. Okay, so both of these are going to show us something similar. They're going to show us that next rise here in the market, and both have similar levels. But what are they both calling for? They're both calling for sideways trading. What do we get after the market has that has a series of small and mid cap stocks squeezing? We have sideways pressure in the market. So that means that right now, where we are, if you guys have been following along with what we've been looking at here, SPY is a potential peak, a potential top, because once the market once the market peaks, that is where we start to see AMC come down. Now, mind you that the last two major POIs we've had in the market have been on a bear market. Okay, this is a bear market, so you have a clear rejection to the downside. If we are entering a bull market again and we're starting to go back up, things are going to be different this time. You can see a small fake out and a continuation back up, even if the price is trading sideways. So that's important to remember here, is if we are entering a bullish market and this is a short-term correction like we've been calling, then this is going to indicate that AMC is probably going to start coming back up, even if it doesn't happen here in the short term, right? So let's talk about that. Now that we are in this potential top here, there might be a day or two that the market does trade within this parallel zone up here, parallel channel. This is where I pulled up all the patterns we've been tracking and why I believe that SPY is going to come down a little bit, at least to test this major level of resistance back down here around the 390 range within, going into March. That was the projection we've had so far. It's you trade sideways up here and then you come back down. Perfect time to do that would maybe be next week's for CPI data. I think that we might see some kind of bearish catalyst, if not a bullish one, whatever it is. You guys know these guys will fake out the market, and essentially what the chart is telling me is that we're going to see one more bounce at least. This is going to be a major test, because if we do come down here and the market breaks below, well, then that's going to tell us something else, right? The market might keep going down. If not, we're going to get a bounce. And then this is going to be the first confirmation we need for a bullish market. Okay, so this is not quite a bullish market yet. We need to establish the first level of support, which will be once we bounce off of this level of resistance. So this is what I'm calling for here within the next 2 weeks. All right, what that does for AMC, it will extend things a little bit if this POI here is done and it's just one that gets rejected back down again. Well, then we set up and start climbing back up. Now I'm going to show you a couple of different patterns that we've been tracking as far as this goes, because again, when we get more data, we're able to provide more patterns and more things to track based on the current outlook, right? So you guys know I've been tracking metamaterials, support.com. These guys had reverse splits. Reverse split is coming up on the 15th. If it gets approved on the 14th, we still don't know that yet. So as long as it gets approved and there's a majority of votes are yes, then that it should happen on the 15th, right a day after the vote is approved. Okay, so we know that. We saw the timeline. We're still tracking everything as far as that goes. So I'll show you some of the patterns we've been finding here, and this is where I'm going to pull up AMC plus APE, because AMC plus APE is going to give us a more accurate representation of where AMC is actually currently trading at. And when they merge back together, you're going to see that same chart again. We're going to see the same scale chart on AMC, both combined. Okay, so this is Agree, which used to be support.com. Let's see if I still have it here. Where'd it go? Here it is. And I want you guys to pay attention to these levels and how this happened. So this is a little bit different because this pattern here is not calling for a, so you can tell what the structure of this pattern is calling for. It is a projector that leads on and crosses the initial resistance on the initial POI, which in this case we don't have. We don't have that same wick that comes up and creates a massive cup. It's a little different, but that volume is still there. It's still pretty accurate. And yeah, this calls for something similar, except here we don't have a reverse split taking place in April, right? We have a reverse split that could essentially take place the 15th. So it's a little weird. It is a little weird that the patterns are lining up this way, this being a fractal because it is shrunk. We are fitting this according to how it fits on AMC's chart. So it's not the same time, and I prefer patterns that have the same time frame, or not the same time frame, same time window, because they give us a better representation with how cycles work. And options are very big on this, in how we crack the code here with some of these derivatives, right? The option chain has expiration dates, which means that you do have to follow something that has frequency, has dates that are aligned and are the same, look the same. So fractals sometimes can be a little bit tricky to put a little bit too much faith into them, right? So still remain skeptical on this. Here you can see that these levels are why I like this part where we're at, is because this is a projector and it comes back down to test support. So this could be a fake out. It could be a fake out and we start climbing back up with the market in the next couple of days, right? It's not invalid yet, and this also goes with the POI. Remember, POIs here can be extended about a week if things do play out a little bit later in the POI. So here's the POIs. Here's AMC. You can see that the one in March was a little bit early. The one in August was a little bit late, right? This one, not done yet, but on this fractal that you're looking at right now, it is calling for more upside in the coming days. So we can definitely start to see that pressure build up here in the short term. Another pattern we've been tracking here in the in the Discord for a little while has been this one. The reason why I like this one is because of coming up to March 19th of 2021, that was a major expiration date for the option market. Now this one looks extremely similar to what we have going on here. Same thing, right? It is a fractal though, because I'm making it a little bit bigger, but we have an expiration date, the 17th. So the only reason why I've been a bit skeptical about this pattern here is because it is starting to stray away and play out inverse, which normally means that there's more downside to come. But with these fractals, guys, there's always going to be some gaps in the chart. If there's one gap and it gets filled in the very next day or in a couple of days, comes back into sequence, and we're good. We're good to go. It's just that's a fake out. We've seen a lot of fake outs on AMC. Okay, look at this. Earnings, fake out. Next day, boom. All right, macro fake out here. Comes up, comes back down, makes a projector, and then starts to rally again. So this isn't a confirmation that it is an inverse point of interest yet. We need to give it at least a day or two. I told the Discord I'm going to wait till Monday and see what happens on Monday. Still going to be careful with just the way my positions are right now, and we'll go from there, right? But treat it as everything else in the market, in that anything could happen. Nothing has to go your way or the way that it's intended to. These are just volatility zones, and they're not calling for drastic price levels or anything like that. They're just they're telling us that in this zone, that because the last 5 major POIs have been within that 2-week zone, that is where we can expect volatility, and that is it. It's not going to tell you that we're going to reach 145 or anything like that. No, it's just telling us that we can expect volatility within that zone. So that is what I got for you guys today, man. I'm just trying to update the charts, give you guys a little update. Going to keep tracking it the next 2 days and see how it goes from there. Other than that, I'll update all the other charts and market and all that good stuff on the next video, on the next live stream. So stay tuned for that. If you guys want to check everything else out, you want to be on the Discord, all that good stuff, make sure you click the link below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you get a little live stream going and answer some questions. All right, bye-bye.